The third Africa TV GSL Super Tournament for the 2021 season has found its final 8. Cure, Trap, Rogue and Dark fought and conquered their opponents at the beginning of the prestigious Starcraft II competition. Rounding out the roster of RTS veterans, 4 more South Korean Starcraft II celebrities closed out the best-of-5 bracket, each bringing their flavour of play into the live tournament. First up was Protoss master ZOUN, who for the past 2 GSL Super Tournaments consistently earned his place among the best in the event's grand finals. His opponent in the round of 16 was Ryong, a Terran Grandmaster, who was looking good to take his spot in the round of 8 after claiming the first 2 games of the series. ZOUN switched on in the third game on the map of Berlingrad. By splitting his attacks, ZOUN's main force took care of Ryong's flyers, while his Dark Templars attacked his open command centers and mineral lines. With Liberators destroyed, ZOUN turned the series around. The comeback continued on the map of Blackburn, as ZOUN's Disruptors found their targets. A Blink Stalker flank from the north was enough to power down Ryong's fleet, while his infantry was burned to a crisp by ZOUN's Colossi. The scores were settled at 2-aside. The tiebreaker map of Glittering Ashes saw ZOUN close in on his opponent with Disruptors, Stalkers, Carriers, Colossi and Dark Templar. The marathon 20-minute game saw Ryong's defences fall at the hands of ZOUN's versatile unit composition.
Not only is he doing all this damage to Ryong, but Ryong can do nothing across the map. I mean, he is just macroing freely.
Yeah, he's got such a large economy during all of this as well. The Liberators fighting in anti-air mode here. Not doing the most fantastic job, unfortunately. I think that's going to be it. Ryong going to have to tap out.
Man.
And what a comeback.
The perfectly executed reverse sweep saw the GSL star move on to the round of 8. The next matchup was a tale of Terran versus Zerg, as KANG gaming star Solar demolished Dream in the best-of-5 series, claiming all 3 maps to advance in the Super Tournament. With Roaches and Ravagers at the ready, Solar savagely advanced upon his opponent's base in Game 1. His vials were connecting, while Dream's Medivacs had trouble keeping up with the consistent damage to his infantry. The game was over in 10 minutes. A visit to the battlefield of Hardwire saw Dream rapidly tech towards some early battle cruisers, all while causing problems for Solar with continuous poke damage with Helions. Consistent roach pressure saved the game for Solar. With Corruptors taking care of Dream's fleet, the game quickly took a sharp turn in Solar's favour.
Feels like a very good defense here from Dream. He is way down in supply, so it's still a little bit tough. Backs up though, and here we go. The Corruptors going after those BCs now. Bring up SCVs to try to repair, I think, or to fight.
Actually, the tank, and man, the BCs are going down to the Corruptors. This attack is actually breaking through in a way that I didn't quite imagine.
The Zerg player controlled the entire south of the map, while Dream fought desperately to hold on to a 3rd expansion. Solar and his swarm were unstoppable for a 2nd game. Looking for a win on Game 3's map of Blackburn, Dream attempted to bruise Solar's work account with Banshees, but the attack was forced out with a handful of Queens. Zerglings and Banelings were the units of choice to defend Solar's base. Dream's army was incinerated in seconds, and as the game passed the 11-minute mark, there was very little Dream could do to stave off the impending Hydralisk, Bane and Zergling numbers.
Yeah, that's a big attack coming in.
Yeah, Solar rolling forward here. So many Lings and Banes. The Siege Tanks doing their best to hold everything off. Some great Siege Tank connections, no doubt about that. He is on 2-fact Siege Tank, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here.
For a 3rd game in a row, Dream couldn't recover. Solar earned his spot in the GSL Super Tournament round of 8. Through 3 dominating games, DreamHack Masters 2021 Winter Champion MARU knocked Protoss star Classic completely out of the competition. Classic's proxy Warpgate was quickly scouted out by MARU in Game 1's Hardwire. MARU's signature bio drops tore through Classic's natural at the 7-minute mark, but Classic was prepared and quickly forced the attack out of his base seconds later. The battle for Game 1 was lengthy. Colossi consistently dwindled down MARU's bio composition, but with some EMPs and a small fleet of Vikings, MARU countered Classic's forces and claimed Game 1. Rolling straight into Game 2's curious minds, Classic went for another proxy play, but with a Stargate instead of the usual gateway. Oracles tried their luck at taking down MARU's SCVs, but a pocket of Marines were on standby to fend off Classic's aerial advancement. MARU's attack on Classic's third expansion was the start of the end for the Protoss player. Marauders took down the majority of Classic's army, while some well-positioned siege tanks busted down Protoss shields in a matter of seconds. The match was heavily one-sided. Classic's numbers dropped hard and fast as he attempted to defend the high ground. MARU took Game 2 without giving his opponent room to breathe. Entering Game 3 with great confidence, MARU began playing mind games against Classic. He tricked the Protoss player into thinking he was going to rush with a proxy barracks, throwing off Classic's intended build order at a crucial time in the match. Adding insult to injury, Widow Mine drops in Classic's main prevented him from gathering minerals as early as 4.5 minutes into the game. With low resources and a questionable build order, things were looking bad for Classic. After Classic's Blinkstalker advantage was denied, MARU dodged storms and created the perfect spread around Classic's Zealots, Stalkers and High Templar. They were gunned down in seconds. With next to nothing to defend his third, Classic bowed out of the GSL Super Tournament.
Are with way too much, and now
those are
that's
the
just
only attacking units for Classic.
Yeah.
Those 3 Zealots. For a moment, it was just the Observer and 55 probes.
Yeah, nothing left here.
Heartbreaking series here for Classic. But I mean, he showed that he still kind of has it in game number 1. I would not be surprised to see him make it in a Code S.
One of the best Terran players on Earth rightfully took his spot in the next stage of the Premier competition. Taking his seat as the last entry in the Super Tournament round of 8 was returning champion Hero, who through 4 challenging PvP games secured his place in the next stage of the competition. Setting up camp right outside Zest's front door, Hero went all in with Stalkers, while Zest continued to tech towards Void Rays. Mass Stalkers with some shield batteries to back them up cornered Zest completely. Once his Stargate went down, Zest had to hand the speedy 4-minute game over to his Protoss counterpart. Stalkers, Stalkers and more Stalkers was the theme for Game 2's 2000 Atmospheres, with both players opting for the versatile unit and its blink upgrade. Archons made their way onto the battlefield, but both players continued to play cautiously, waiting patiently for the other to slip up. It took only one fight to end it all. Positioning was crucial for both players. Zest's own units were preventing his Zealots from manning up in the front line. Hero's Warp Prism was perfectly microing injured units in and out of battle. And before the viewers knew it, Zest had lost his second game. A return to the battlefield of Hardwire saw some proxy play come out of Zest, while Hero went all in on an early second Nexus. With 4 gateways warping in a handful of Stalkers by the 3-minute mark, Zest had a frightfully strong lead. Hero's trade-off for a stronger economy blew up in his face. Void Rays were Hero's last line of defense. Shield batteries only prolonged the inevitable, as Zest's Stalker count grew by the second. Hero's structures and units fell one by one. It was clear that this game was Zest's for the taking. The loss was only a minor setback for Hero, as the players jumped straight into Berlingrad for game number 4. With 2 gateways each on the high ground, it was obvious from the beginning that no player wanted to tempt fate. Bolstering their Stalker count, this was going to be a stock standard Protoss versus Protoss showdown. This all changed once Hero started to tech with a robotics bay. Disruptors made their way onto the battlefield. Hero wanted to punish Zest's tight Stalker and Immortals at the foot of his expansion. Although the Disruptor went down fast, Hero still won the numbers game. His Stalkers blinked in and out of harm's way, while his Immortals took down Zest's units from the backline.
He only has 7 Stalkers now to the 2 Immortals and 11 Sentries. The War Prism is still up for Hero. More reinforcements are going to be coming in. And I think we reached the tipping point where there's no response anymore for Zest.
Oh, certainly you're right about that. The
Wow.
Stalkers come up, and that is it. GG Hero 3-1 Zest.
Hero proved that day that he was the better Protoss player this time around. With Zest removed from the Super Tournament, Hero moved on to the round of 8.
Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with the amazing esport content from around the gaming globe. Only on Unbeaten Esports.